Welcome to Geek Salad, a podcast about two guys talking about their passion for anything geek, from the digital world to the not-so-digital world. Now here are your hosts, Randy and J.A. LaRock.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Geek Salad. I am your host, Randy, and with me is my friend, J.A. LaRock. What's up, Jose?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, I gotta tell you. Let me tell you. We're literally just gonna go right into it. So these past few weeks has been craziness. From finding out that, hey, I gotta get a root canal done on Halloween, to school, to which let me tell you, for the first time ever, I'm doing a Cisco router class as part of my things for my IT and internet security thing, and I knew how networks worked. I had an idea how they worked. When you take a class and it breaks down what your computer does to talk to a router and a switch and all this stuff, when you realize, A, how much stuff goes on in the background, and B, how quickly it does it, it is mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing how it works. And I'm literally sitting in class, just taking it in, going, I had no idea. I knew it worked. I could sit there and put a command of ping, and I understood, it spoke to this computer and it talks back. But just how the computer knows that I'm looking for that specific computer is fascinating.
Which all we take for granted. We're just network's down. Damn it, this thing's
It's unbelievable just how that whole process works, and it does it in a matter of milliseconds. On top of that, But yeah, so what I wanted to talk about today was how long has it been since they did the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 beta? It was probably 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I'd heard about it. I'm like, I want to sign up for it because they were primarily going to give you accessibility to the multiplayer and the Blackout, which is what I really wanted to check out, was Blackout. And got on there and started playing both the multiplayer and Blackout, and I enjoyed it so much. I was like, okay, I got to pre-order this game. And the thing about the Blackout that was really great is I pretty much make it is it's imagine PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Fortnite had a baby. And you're basically taking the speed and gunplay of Fortnite with the kind of the non-building and kind of big world of PUBG and merging them together. And what I like about it is it's very fast-paced. It feels like a Call of Duty game, but it doesn't feel as twitchy as how Call of Duty has been known to be.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. For
older people, especially.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. But here's the thing. What I really like about it is it plays quick, and you don't necessarily it's not a ginormous map like how PUBG is. It's kind of a map the size of Fortnite's. What's really cool that you could do is you could go from wherever the helicopter is that drops you off. You can get just about to the edge of the map, and it's a simple trick of you dive straight down till you get to about 65 miles an hour, and then you level out, and you keep that burst of speed, and you're wearing a wingsuit, so you can just glide out way out to these areas. Now, the neat things that they put into it is I like that they've every gun kind of has a predicted recoil that it's going to do. So you can learn with each of the different guns, I need to pull down on my mouse X amount, so you can keep it kind of straight on as you're shooting. So unlike PUBG, where you kind of have to do the one tap, you can at a distance and hit people. I like the fact that they gave almost little perks. So you find these little boxes that you can activate in your inventory, and they'll give you special things. So one of them is called Iron Lung, where when you hold your breath, you can hold it for longer, while you're aiming down scope or something like that. They have one where you can you got an update for Windows. They have one where the distance that you can hear enemy footsteps is longer. You have one that your footsteps are muffled so they can't hear you. Things like that. And what I found really interesting is like in Fortnite and PUBG, you can essentially do the whole like, okay, I'm within the circle, I'm just going to sit here and camp, which you kind of can do in this. But if you do that, you're actually kind of like hindering yourself because you really need to start going out and looking for better weapons and stuff like that. And there are people that do that they'll literally like find this like a really good building and they'll lay down on the ground, just shotgun aimed at the door, just waiting. And they'll hear somebody come up and the door will come up and just boom, you blast a person and they're down.
Is it the same way as those other games where you start with nothing in this mode?
Yeah, so you start with nothing. Yeah, same type of thing. Now, what's kind of neat that they added in as like a little kind of like bonus type of a thing, there are spots on the map that when you land there, there are actually zombies from like the zombie mode. So what's neat is like there's, I think, 3 places for sure that have it. One is this area called the Asylum, where it's like an old asylum that's all like destroyed and all that. I believe in Nuketown, which is part of this map, which is one of the Call of Duty maps, there's zombies in there. And then there's this like one area that has like a graveyard that has zombies in it. Now, what's really neat is they don't spawn the zombies in like the graveyard area all the time, but what they'll do is from their zombies mode, they actually had like a treasure chest that if you did a specific thing, it would unlock it. What's neat is here, you actually see this like tall blue light in the sky. And that's one of these like zombie treasure chests. And if you run over there, a whole bunch of zombies will spawn up. You kill all the zombies and it unlocks the chest. But here's the thing, like the risk reward of it is A, you have to kill all these zombies to get to it. But at the same time, you're shooting, so you're making noise. Right. So people know, like, oh, wait, somebody's going for that chest. You know,
that's probably a hot spot, too. People see those lights, more people are likely to fly towards it.
Right. So, and that's the thing is, like, they're real smart where they won't put the light at the beginning of the map. Like, after everybody lands, boom, that's when you'll see the light pop up. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. But it picks a random place every time. So that's what's neat about it, too. And it's just so cool how they, like, made it like this. It's just fast paced. You go, you know? Now, the only thing, and this is the kind of other thing is like the multiplayer, which I always hated just the multiplayer of it. They changed it up where it kind of plays a little bit like Overwatch. So you have, I want to say it's like 9 or 12 specialists. So they're these operatives that they all have like a special ability. So they'll have like a smaller ability and a bigger ability. And just like in Overwatch, as you start playing, like you usually have that one small ability like really almost charged up all the way, and then the big one just starts charging up as you go around. So like to give you an idea, one of the guys, he has like what they call a 9-bang, which is a flash bang that when you click it and you throw it out, it has like a three button underneath it. If you click it and throw it out, when it lands and it explodes, it goes boop, boop, boop. It does three pops of the flashbang. But if you press and hold the charge button, it'll start filling up the other buttons. And if you fill in all 3 and then throw it, it'll go boop, 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 boop. So it does 9 altogether. And then his like big weapon is he basically pulls out a ballistic shield, almost like the dudes from Rainbow Six. But then when you hit the button, you see him hit the button on the shield. It extends from head to toe. And he's holding a handgun that's like fully automatic. And then when you press the aim key, he basically has this little hole that he sticks the gun through. And then when you pull the trigger, it's like a fully automatic handgun. So you can just like using this shield just to like shoot through to people. It's amazing. Like it's so funny and so broken. But then of course they do have like the kill streak stuff that they used to have. Okay. So you can get the UAVs, you can get the missile strikes and all that. And you know, that's where it's like whatever. Like it still sucks to have when you have like an enemy attack chopper just flying above. And like you're spawning in, taking 4 steps, and you're getting shot and killed. And there's nothing you could do about it, you know.
Now, do you miss the fact that there's no single player?
So the thing with this is like this is what's really weird about the game. So there is no single player campaign, but they have for each of the specialists they show like a dossier where it shows their kind of like background story, and then you could kind of like play little training things that teaches you how to use their weapons and stuff. And it's like you could see the blueprints for a single player campaign could have been there, but they were just like, the heck with this, and let's just focus on multiplayer. And it's a shame because like that's the one thing I remember about Call of Duty games that I used to like. I mean, I liked the single player campaigns that they used to have for that. I still say like one of my favorite campaigns is either, I want to say it was like Modern Warfare. It was either Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2, the one where you the first controversial like scene that they had in one of those games, the ones that you played as the Russian guy going through the airport and something like that scenario in that campaign was just like, holy crap, like what's going on here? Like you're just going through an airport mowing people down, and then you get to the end and they put a black bag over your head and knock you out, and it's like, whoa, what happened? They knew you were.
That's the thing I'm curious about, because I haven't gotten the game yet. I'll probably get it. I'm probably gonna wait till it's on sale or something, because I got other games in my queue. But do you think that you were shorted a little bit? Because the way I look at it is, if other games have had single player and they have all these things, like I know that in the commercial they hype out all these modes, but the question is, did they really just save a bunch of money in the texturing and the creation of the single player with the voice acting and just save it? Or did they really pour it in? Because the price is still the same. It's not like it's cheaper because you only get multiplayer. Or do you feel like they put so much more in a multiplayer, they actually put in that money that they would have put in single player?
See, that's kind of hard to kind of like look at it, because if you sit there and you break it down, you've got 3 modes. So you have multiplayer, you have blackout, and you have the zombies mode. So when you look at it, it's like you're paying $20 per mode that you have. Now, zombies mode has always been that one like thing that you have people that are like hardcore to that zombies mode, and they love that thing. And what's really funny is like my manager was like hardcore into the zombies mode, the old thing, and he's like, oh yeah, there's like a story to it. And I'm like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, there's like an actual story to the whole zombies mode. And I'm like, you're pulling my leg. Like, there is no story to that thing. Like, you just running around shooting a bunch of Nazi zombies or zombies. And he linked me a video. It was like an hour and 15 minutes long, but there's an actual storyline to it. But you don't get the details to the story of it unless you do all those like really weird, really hard Easter eggs that they used to have hidden through it. Like, that's what starts to unlock the story of the zombies.
But is the video just someone explaining it, or is it like cutscenes and stuff?
So it's somebody explaining it, but also grabbing, because part of like the Easter egg stuff and all that you would get is you would unlock these like audio tapes that would play that it was the different scientists and all that explaining what they were doing and blah, 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 and talking back and forth. So he basically gets those audio clips and you hear it, and then he goes on explaining, all right, this is what ended up happening because of this and blah, 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 blah. You know, and he explains it. And it's all like stuff that you find out from going through the levels and exploring and seeing and all that. So that was what was kind of cool about it is, and it's this weird, like there were these 2 guys that were working on basically like teleportation, and then it got like really weird, and part of they found like this artifact that they thought that it could help them, but the artifact was actually like this like weapon or it wasn't like a weapon, it would basically turn the people into zombies. It was a side effect of it or whatever. So it's this whole like, and it was because of this like weird element that was found, and like it's this whole thing that when I was done watching this thing, like my head was spinning going, this is like the whole thing, you know? And supposedly this part or one of the 3 maps I believe that you play in the zombies mode is the tail end of that story, you know, for the game, for the whole thing, because it's like it gets into this whole weird like split dimensions, and like I mean I'm telling you, like it got to the point where like they start telling you the main storyline, and then they're like, okay, so this is where, because of the actions of here, it splits off into 2 separate dimensions, and this is what happens in this dimension, and this is what happens in this dimension. So it's like, I mean, you literally your head will spin, because you're like, all right, what is going on now? You know?
So
but it was
the overall multiplayer, like let's say you haven't played Call of Duty in a long time. Let's say you even came from Battlefield or something. Is it going to still be one of those learning curves where you jump in? Obviously, no matter what, so people are going to have better skills than you and going to pwn you if you don't know how to play. But what would you say is like that welcome to multiplayer? Is it like a little bit easier to get into it, or is it like you can still walk in and just get slaughtered?
So it's one of those things, like having not played a Call of Duty since probably Modern Warfare, either the first Modern Warfare or Black Ops, the original one. I can sit there and say, like, you're still going to get your teeth kicked in by 14-year-old kids. Like, that's not going to change. It is still very much the Twitch shooter that Call of Duty has always been, where it's like, oh, first person to start shooting usually will win the gunfight. But the way that they put in these specialists into it does change it up a bit. I will tell you wholeheartedly, it will suck from level 1 to level 5 as you go grinding up. Thankfully, it doesn't take too long for you to get to level 5. Because once you hit level 5, that's when you get the create a class. So what they basically do for your first 5 levels is the specialist that you pick will have like a default weapon that they use, and each one has a different weapon. But it's one of the weapons that you can unlock as you go leveling up to put it into your create a class. Once you hit your level 5, that it unlocks the create a class, it'll give you a base weapon from LMGs, assault rifles, SMGs, and a sniper rifle, I believe. And then as you go playing, that you pick like, oh, I want to take the assault rifle, and you start playing, the gun itself levels up. And then as the gun levels up, it starts unlocking attachments that you can put onto the gun. Now, what they did to kind of like balance it, if you want to talk, is when you customize the attachments and all that, you basically get a total of like 10 points, where each attachment or each thing that you put in is valued at a number of points. So your perks are a certain number of points, like your modifications are a certain number of points, your attachments are a certain number of points. Everybody can get up to 10 points. So you get to choose, what do I want to put on this gun to customize it? So that gets like a bit interesting, and it kind of can balance stuff out, but I can definitely tell you, like, the kill streak stuff is still way overpowered like it was before. The abilities that each of the specialists have are really cool. There's some really cool ones and other ones that are like, why is this even here? Like, I think one of the specialists I liked was this dude that he basically wears like a fireproof suit, and his light ability is he pulls out a radiation canister and opens it up and exposes the core. And then anybody within a certain distance of you starts burning up. So they start losing life, almost like a damage over time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But then his like main ability is he whips out a flamethrower and you can just torch people. There's like a girl that her small power is she throws out a grenade that blows up, and then it launches out like 4 little smaller grenades, and then those 4 blow up. And then her main ability is she pulls out a grenade launcher, and you can just start boop, 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 just like launching them all over the place. There's a dude that gets a dog. There's like
so at least there's variety. It's not like you're,
variety. That's the thing that's cool. Like, you're gonna find a specialist, a spec op that you like playing as, and you're gonna be like, ooh, like this is the guy I want to always play as. But what's really neat is the way they balance it out is only one person can be each spec op on each team.
Oh, okay. So you can't. It's not like, oh, this one's powerful, so you have like a whole team of them.
Yeah, it's not like, Overwatch, where you have that special mode. It's like, I want 6 divas, and like, like you can't do that with, like, they have multiplayer versions of it where you, like the deathmatch, you can pick multiples of the same one, but like the capture points, domination, all that stuff, you're only allowed one per group, which is nice. Now, the only like kind of the 2 big like downsides to it that I found were, number 1, right now the tick rate for the servers is at 20, which it stinks because it talks so slow to the server that you could sit there, round the corner, see a dude, start shooting at him, and you get into a firefight, and you can round back with still a good amount of life, and you'll still die because by the tick server rate, he killed you, but yours hasn't caught up to that yet.
Oof.
So that's kind of bad. The only other thing that, and I agree with like a lot of the more pro people that play that are pro gamers and other games that are coming over this, and they're like, I like the game, but this is one of the things that drives me nuts is when you get hit with a bullet, it does this thing where it it lowers the brightness on the screen, and it puts like an outline around of like the blood kind of like thing. And the closer you are to death, the darker it is. So that makes it harder to keep an eye on your target. And then on top of that, the muzzle flash of you shooting is so bright when it pops that if you're almost dead and you're popping a shot, you literally can't see where you're shooting.
It's like flashbanging yourself.
Yeah. It's so like such a big like just bright star in the center of your screen that you have a hard. Like I've potatoed so many shots because I'll start shooting at the guy and the guy's shooting at me and he starts moving in a direction where I don't see it and I'm still shooting at where he was, and I realize like, oh wait, like he's moved from there and I'll lose the gunfight. I mean, the one thing that it does keep on to kind of try combat that, but not really, is that you could still see their health bar above their head, so you can see the health bar move. But if they stay out of your sight for just long enough, that health bar disappears, and then you don't know where they are. So, like, that has been, like, the only kind of, like, negative stuff, if anything, for it, which is easily fixable. So, it's nothing
Are there
like
any nickel and diming or pay to win in that?
No, thankfully.
That's good.
Like, thankfully, they at least did that. I mean, they still do the stupid, like, the season pass thing, but that's going to be here forever. But thankfully, they don't have, like, pay $5 and you unlock all the guns. Like, nah. I haven't seen that, at least as of yet. I know they have, like, a store, but I don't think it does pay to win stuff. Because you basically, like, the way that you unlock stuff is you have to just play. Like, you have to just play. So, I mean, like I said, I never thought these words would come across my mouth, but I'm actually enjoying this Call of Duty. Like, never in my life that I think I would ever say that again. But that has happened. The other game that I've been playing that, oh my God, like I never, in a million years other than Call of Duty, I never thought I would play as much as I've been playing it. And that's the latest Assassin's Creed, or Odyssey. And before Odyssey, the last Assassin's Creed I played was probably 2 or 3. So I didn't play Black Flag, I didn't play Unity, I didn't play any of those other ones. And like I had heard, hey, Black Flag was a really good game, and I remember like Ubisoft gave it for free as one of their like game of the month or whatever, blah blah blah, that they would do their like gift to you
on their platform thing.
Yeah, on their platform thing. And I mean, I attached it to my account and never downloaded it to play it. I'm like, whatever. Which I may do that now after I'm done with Odyssey, because I heard like Black Flag was actually pretty good. But I was hesitant about it. And I'm like, I don't know, and this and that. And, I started seeing reviews of it and all that, and just how positive people were talking about it. And they were like, oh, this is basically how Assassin's Creed Origins was, but just like really more refined. And I'm like, all right. And I sat there and I'm like, after I started seeing all these scores of like 8s and 9s and, this and that, I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Like, I'll get it. And I started to play it. And part of the, I think, other reasoning why it appealed to me also is just the time period that you're playing in Odyssey. So it takes place in the fictional war between Sparta and the Athenians. The Athenians. Athenians. What am I talking about? That's that Pokemon Go for the Catholics that we were talking about. But what's like really cool is like I really like I enjoyed 300 and all that, and like I really like the that movie and like the whole like idea of the Spartans and all that. What's really really cool is when you first start up the game, to teach you how to fight and everything, you essentially take control of Leonidas and you're fighting against the Persians in that spot that they based 300 about. So that's how you learn to like attack, how to block, how to dodge, all that stuff. And then you have your special abilities that you could do. And one of them, of course, is the Spartan kick. So you can like go up and you could kick a guy that launches him back and gets him off his guard or whatever. So it's really, really cool, because then the story picks up where it does like a modern setting. So like the original protagonist that you played, which was Desmond or whatever, like they wrapped up that story, and apparently this is like a whole new story. So this woman finds the tip of Leonidas' spear. And so they put it into the machine, and it scans the machine, and she's like, oh, I want to like experience what they're doing. And then you get into essentially an Animus, which was that main computer thing that he gets into. But it's like more modernized or whatever. Like it's a future version of that. So the girl that you play as is like, oh, you can set it how like realistic this thing is. Basically, you can set what difficulty you want the game to be at. And then it gives you an option. And this is one of the things that I think is really great is you can have the game handhold you if you want. So as you do your quests, you can have the game be like, oh, I've got to this point. Now I need to go to point X. It'll mark it on your map so you know exactly where you need to go. Or the other option is, and when you highlight this thing, it tells you this is the way that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is meant to be played, is it will tell you what your next thing is, but it will not mark it on your map until you physically find out where it is. So what's cool is, like, to give you an example, it's like, oh, I needed to go hire this mercenary to join my crew. And they're like, oh, there's been talk that he's located on an island in a bandit camp. And this island is located south of Milikos, like south of the Apollo statue. That's literally all you know. So then you got to go and sit there and like, okay, I got to first find on the map, where the heck is Milikos? Oh, here it is. Now, where in this spot here is he actually at? So it makes you explore more, which is cool. And at that point, then when you select that, what's cool is the girl that's running the computer says, oh, hey, by the way, there's like 2 pieces of DNA that are found on the spear. Which one do you want to do? That's where you pick which character you play. So there you can pick either the male character or the female character. It doesn't really matter which one you pick as, because they're brother and sister. But it's kind of cool that like they give you that option to do that. And then you just start the game and you go in. So like what's really neat is like you start off on this little tiny island that's not as little as you think it is, you know? Mm-hmm. And then you get out into the rest of the map and you're like, oh man, this thing is way huger than like you actually think. It's kind of the same experience I had when I started playing Zelda Breath of the Wild, where you start off on a tiny little spot. Oh yeah. And it's like you're galloping on the horse forever, and you're like, this game is great. This island's great. And then it unlocks the rest of your map, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be traveling forever. Like that's kind of what this feels like. The other really kind of like other neat things that are like, it's kind of cool because instead of having those like hidden dagger things, your assassination weapon is basically the tip of Leonidas' spear. So when you hide in bush and you're in like cover and you call the people over and they come over, like you almost like grab them, you flip them into the bush and you take the spear and like jab it into the one ear and you see the tip comes out the other side and then you pull it out through. Like, yeah, it's not a nice way of like, if there would be a nice way of assassinating somebody.
It's
like
brutal.
This. Yeah, no, it's brutal. But there's little things that they like have done to the game that's kind of cool. Like you can, I never remembered in Assassin's Creed in the original ones, like you couldn't hide in bushes. I remember like you could do that whole thing where you like got into a crowd of people and walked around and pretended to be like the crowd. But this one, like they'll have tall grass that you can like crouch into it, and it kind of gives you a little visual thing that shows like a little eye with a strike through it, so you know you're hidden. But then you could sit there and like whistle, and then if the guard is close enough, they'll be like, "Oh, what was that?" And they'll come over to investigate, and then you can grab them and kill them. You get a horse so you can travel around that you can call them and things like that. But like very like it has RPG elements because there's gear and all that. Now that has been part of the thing where some people have said like, oh yeah, there's some pay to win to it because they do have a store and you can buy the in-game currency and buy armor sets and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know, but as far as how I've been playing it right now, like I haven't done any of the pay to win stuff and I've still been having a good time. And like you do find a good amount of armor and stuff like that as you go through the game. And it does give you a whole bunch of side quests that you can do that they'll give you either money or armor or whatever. So like you always are going to find stuff that you can use. Because like one of the things that I think is just super cool. And granted, it was like Black Flag was the one that introduced it, was the naval combat in the game. It is so cool because like you get your boat and you start going. And one of the things that I thought was really neat about it is like you'll have your crew, and as you go rowing through the ocean, like they'll start singing. And it's like, you're in boat, like that, and they're singing along, and you're going as they're rowing. And it's neat because you have like the option, when you're going out, you can either have them row and you go at a slower speed, or like you could hit a button and you drop the sail down so that it moves a lot faster. And then like when you get into a fight, you have two people that are on your boat. You have archers, and then you have guys with spears. So like if you're farther away, you have your archers start shooting the arrows into their ship and all that. If you get closer, you have the guys throw the spears and all that, does more damage. And then what's cool is when you damage out all their armor, the like boat like gets on fire and all that. And then if you drive by them, you can board the ship. And it's like super cool because you sit there and you're like, all right, initiate the boarding sequence. And like you see the ship start lining itself up. And like your crew members like grabs their shield and they start slamming it on the deck. They're like, ding, ding, hoo, ding, ding, hoo. And then like as soon as they get close, you see all your crew just jumps over into the opposing ship and they start fighting on the boat. And that's the other thing is like you have a limited amount of time to fight and clear off the crew to loot the ship because the ship goes under.
Yeah.
So like it's really neat how they did it. Like I'm trying to think like the only other thing I'm thinking that they did in this that I don't think they did in the other one. So because you have the two factions and parts of the land are owned by different parts of the factions, you can do missions that'll shift the power in the areas. So you can do missions that benefits the Spartans or benefits the Athenians, and then it raises or lowers their power in the area. So like if you want, let's say you go to an area where the Athenians have power, you can start talking to the Spartan scouts, and they're like, oh, there's this base over here that has all their like weaponry, and here's this area over here that has the money that they use to pay the soldiers. So what like you have to do is sneak in and steal the money and burn up all their weapons and all that. So you kind of like break their mood, as it were. And then eventually the leader makes himself known where he is. So like when the power over the nation is high, he's like held up real tight in his house with a bunch of guards. But as you go destroying the stuff, you notice there's less guards protecting him, things like that. He won't stay in his house. He'll like go out because he's like, oh, they're going to attack me in my house. So it's like really neat how they did it. Like, and that I think is like kind of cool where you could choose a side you want to side with. Like you can do different things based on like your conversations. You can say different things and persuade people in different ways. Like really, really well done.
I'm kind of curious of who is going to buy like the armor and stuff, because I remember playing Origins. It's like the exploration part was fun, and there was so many ways to get armor. And if you just did some of the side quests and you did things, you were never like outgunned or anything like that. So I guess maybe you just put it there because you hope somebody really just wants to rush through everything. But man, part of the fun of it, like I remember in Origins just going through the pyramids and exploring and stuff like that. And I never really wanted for anything, but I guess to each their own.
And that's the thing that like I like how like one of the things like you'll go through here and you'll find like caves. And one of the things that they did that's like really neat, and I like how they did it with the lighting and everything. Like, so if you're coming out and it's the middle of the daytime and you run and you see, oh, look, there's a cave entrance, and you just like go into the cave, like it takes a little bit of you going into the cave before like it literally adjusts it where you can see the inside of the cave. And I'm like, damn, that's really cool. Like little nuances like that, where it's like, yeah, that's how it would look like to you. Like you come running in and you can't see anything at first. And then as your eyes adjust, you can see all the details on the inside of the cave. And supposedly, I don't know, but I heard that there's either 2 or 3 mythical creatures that you can fight in the game. And I know one of them is a Cyclops, and I think I found where it is. But I remember watching a video through IGN where they showed them take on the Cyclops. And mind you, these people took on the Cyclops, and they were like almost level 40, and I think 50 is the max level. And that fight looked like a bear of a fight too, because you first start fighting him where the Cyclops is just barehanded, And then eventually he starts doing a move where he like slams the ground inside the cave and pieces of the cave start falling. And then the stage 3 is he like rips a chunk of rock out of the wall and then uses it as a club.
Oh,
So it's like it gets insane. But like one of the other things, and see, without playing Origins, I don't know. Like it's cool that you level up and you get ability points and you can unlock different abilities. And here there's 3 like trees. There's like hunter, assassin, and warrior, I think are the 3.
yeah, and Origins had similar.
Okay. One of the really neat hunter abilities is this one where like you'll draw your bow and you hit the button and it's almost like a zoomed in view and everything kind of like slows down like a little bit, but you can aim. And then what's cool is if you tap the same button again, you shoot an arrow that goes out and does more damage. But also if you press and hold the button, when you shoot the arrow, you can actually guide it a little bit yourself. So like, and that's what was funny is how I killed the leader. Like I saw where he was sitting. He had 2 guards sitting next to him and they were just like standing there with their swords and shield. But like I had a clean view to him straight ahead. And I'm like, all right, I know what I'm going to do. So like I ran back a good bit and like hid in a bush and pulled that up. And then like I aimed at him and it showed like I almost had his life completely drained. And I know that if you guide the arrow yourself, it'll actually do even more damage. So like I shot this arrow and guided it and I'm like, he's sitting there like this, and he kind of like, you could see as the arrow is coming in because it comes in slow motion, you kind of hear him go, huh? And it just went whack right into his eye socket. And like, it was hilarious because like, boom, he goes flying back and the 2 guards go, what was that? And they turn, they realize he's dead on the ground. And then I see him like doing this and they're looking and they're like, where did that come from? And like, they had no idea. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. And I didn't like little things like that. Like if you shoot somebody with an arrow, and they see where the arrow is coming from before it hits them, or if it hits them and they survive, they'll know what area the arrow came from, and that's what they'll go and search. So it's like really, really cool how like these little tiny things that you don't think about and they put into the game, and you're like, oh man, that's like super cool. Like there's even there's like a bounty system where if like so like I noticed that where I was doing the helping the Spartans out fight against the Athenians is in me killing people and stealing this and doing that, as people notice you do stuff, you're like, your bounty starts going up. And then once it gets to a point, they actually start sending bounty hunters after you. And what's cool is you could do one of 2 ways of getting rid of the bounty. You could pull up the map and it'll show you on the map the person that put the money up for your bounty. And you can hover it over them and it'll say, okay, this is how much you have to pay in bounties. And you could pay it and it automatically wipes it. Or you can actually go and kill the person that has the bounty out on you, and it automatically wipes out your bounty. But I kind of have found that every now and again, like if you're looking at the level of the bounty hunters and they're like near yours or below yours, it's almost more beneficial to kill the bounty hunters because they'll almost always drop a piece of gear. So like I did that one time where I went on a killing spree and I just was taking people out left and right. And I had, I think like a double, I think the max is like 4. I was up to 2. So they were sending literally 2 bounty hunters after me at a time. And like one dude would be walking, I'd lure the other one and I'd just like boop and kill him. All right, gear. And then like the bounty kept going up. And eventually it got to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm soon going to have 3 bounty hunters on me. And I can't have this because it's going to get insane. Because they like patrol around and they kind of like go towards the area that you are. So like they start tracking you down. So I like attacked the base and I ended up wiping out the guy that put the bounty on me. And I'm like, all right, now I don't have to deal with that. But the bounty hunters were still walking around. They were like going back to NPC land, and I snuck up on one and killed him. And still got the gear, so it was hilarious. But like these little things, like you attack a base and they have these like huge torches that if you attack somebody and they kind of run in and warn the other guys, they'll like run over and they'll light the big torch, and then more mercenaries will come in to help protect them, or more guards. Like all little things like this is just, it's unbelievable how good that game is.
Looks like I'm gonna have to add some more games to my list.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things. Like I know this has been a more you quiet type of episode, but good Lord, you don't know, bro. You don't know.
but it's informative. Now I want to play it, and hopefully other people are interested in it now.
It was definitely, I will say, there is a reason why they call October Broketober. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And November's right around the corner with even more.
Yeah, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, yeah, and then Christmas.
Battlefield 5, yeah, Battlefield 5. Oh, dude, let me tell you, if there's one game right now that I'm dying to play, and I'm pretty sure you can guess what it is, because it just came out.
Oh, which one?
What game literally came out this week? Big Rockstar game.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. I didn't get it. And the reason why I didn't get it is I got GTA 5, and I got it for my PS3. I played a little bit. Ooh, it came out on PS4. And I said, I'm going to get it for the PS4 so it looks better. Got it for the PS4. Played a little bit on the PS4, and then what did I do? As soon as it came out on PC, I'm like, ooh, I can play it even better on PC. Traded that in and got it on the PC. This time around, I said, nope, not going to do it. I'm not getting it on PS4 and playing it, and then when they release it on PC, trading it in. I'm waiting until it comes out on PC. So I'm sitting here with my fingers crossed that they will release that damn thing on PC, because, man, all the reviews and gameplay and all that I've seen of, like, I want to play this game so bad. But I
keep hearing that they're not going to release it on PC. So
I mean, the thing about it is, like, they officially haven't said that they're not going to release it or are, but people have been data mining stuff, and more stuff that they data mine from some of their things is it's showing, like, what was it? Let me see. Hold on, because there's one that I saw here. Yeah. So it says Rockstar Intel has some intel on the possibility of a PC edition of Red Dead Redemption 2 that seems more compelling than any previous hints, which was a placeholder retail listing, which, those could be fake. They could do that just to, like, hold up the info. So what they found is they started poking around in the Red Dead Redemption 2 companion mobile app, and they found references in the code of stuff that sounds like a PC edition of the game. So what they found in parameters was a thing here of param underscore frame limit, which was a frame limiter. Then there was another one, param DX11 use 8-bit targets, probably because of the Xbox. They have a param HD streaming in flight, and that was present in Grand Theft Auto 5, but for the PC. Then it basically has a parameter for the Oculus. Then they have a thing of companion auto connect LP PC. So all these little things. So they had, like, another evidence of, like, a Command LS PC version void, and then, like, a whole bunch of things. And then they found for the versions of within this of the companion app, they found a sign-in Android app URL, a sign-in iOS app URL, and then a sign-in PC app URL. So this type of stuff that they're data mining out of it, they're like, okay, this has been, like, the most solid evidence that they've been able to find that, yes, there may be a PC version of it. Again, this is the type of thing that until Rockstar comes out and says, yep, there's going to be one, it's not confirmed, because they could just have that in there in case they decided, like, okay, we're going to sit there and do a PC version of this game. And I've heard, like, the big thing as to why they wouldn't do it right away is because of all the microtransaction stuff, that they get a ton of money off of the microtransaction stuff on console. So, like, it may be that thing, like, us PC hopefuls may have to wait, about a year, because if you look at it, GTA 5 took like a year and a half after it originally released before it came out on PC. Yep. So, I mean, I'm at that point where I'm going to be sitting here just, like, gripping my chip, just, like, waiting for that thing to come out. But, man, like, all the stuff I've seen of it, I want to play it so bad. But, yeah. All right. Well, I got that out of my system. Oh, man. That, and I got rehooked on World of Warcraft. I know.
Yeah, me too. So.
Yeah, I leveled up a enhancement shaman that was decent. It got boring, but now I'm going through and I'm like, okay, which which like ranged class I want to do it. I'm slowly but surely doing my warlock, which let me tell you, if you want the most simplest, most boring rotation in this planet, do a warlock. Affliction warlock, dude, is 4 keys. 4 keys is all you got to do. You got your stupid what the hell's the name of that big purple demon, the Void Walker. You get the Void Walker out, you have that thing attack something, and then just 4 keys. That's it. And it's like, man, this is actually 5 keys because one of them's the death bolt cooldown, and that's all you do. You're just sitting, all right. You know.
Same with demonology. Demonology is really like 3 buttons.
Yeah, and you just like call out a ton of imps whenever that thing pops off. Yeah. The other thing that I started to do is I made the mistake of starting to play my monk again. Oh man, that was a mistake. I forgot how much fun my monk was. Like I find the monk and the rogue, you almost can't die. Like you can if you get overwhelmed, but like especially the monk, I have that thing where like if you kill somebody, it could drop the little chi orb that can heal you and all. But it's almost impossible to die. It's like, oh, I'm fighting 6 things. All right, that first thing dies, it drops an orb. Bloop, it gives me like 25% health back. Just keep fighting. Oh, there's the second one. That bloop, there's another 25%.
That's the thing with my Death Knight. With my Death Knight, it's basically I'll pull like 8 things, and as long as I kill one of them, and then I can do the Death Strike to get my health back, then that's fine. And then I kill another thing and do that. Sometimes I'll pull like a weak mob that's even weaker, I'll Death Grip it just so I can kill it, so I can proc that again and kill it, and then It's like I've taken 10 things on my level and have not even come close to dying.
So this is the craziest thing. So like I only played my Demon Hunter during Legion. Got her to max level and she's been sitting there just whatever. The other day when I was playing with I want to say it was the Warlock. Yes, it was the Warlock. And we went to the Waycrest Manor dungeon. Our tank was the Demon Hunter tank. Yo, this dude, like, I don't know what type of gear this guy had because I didn't get a and like I don't think he even had that high of a gear. He was running through the rooms, just grabbing all the mobs. He'd run 3-4 rooms and then just do that thing where he jumps up and hits the ground and it hits everything. And like I'd literally watch his live, like boop, 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 boop. He'd do this thing and all of a sudden boop all the way back up. I'm like, what in the heck is going on here? It got to a point our healer was fighting because he didn't need to heal the Demon Hunter. And I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, I had no idea the Demon Hunters could pull that much life back up. But they have to because they're only leather wearers. So it's like you have to be able, like, there's no way. Like that's the weakest of all the because every other tank either wears plate or chainmail. No, every other tank wears plate.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was just insane. Like this dude was sitting there, he would literally grab all the mobs leading to the boss room. He'd go into the boss room and drag them into the corner, and then we'd kill them all. And then he's like, "All right, let's go after the boss." Like he'd even pull the boss before we were done killing all the stupid mobs. It was insane. I was like, I might have to play my Demon Hunter if I want to play a tank. It's like, good God. Oh man, well. Unless you have something, sir.
I'm good. I'm just writing down all these games I got to play now.
Oh, I think we could officially put another show back into the books.
That's right.
Man, but yeah, definitely, folks, get out there. Try use some Call of Duty and some Assassin's Creed. Let me tell you, you will not be disappointed. That's for sure. But yeah, as always, guys, click that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Give us comments. We always love to hear your comments, good or bad. We'll take it either way. We either respond to you or ignore you. No, it doesn't matter. We always love our feedback. But yeah, till next time, guys, this is me, Randy, and my friend, host. Keep on gaming, guys. Peace.